The $34 billion that were announced by President Trump to be implemented on July 6th could have a significant impact on U.S. companies operating in the China market, particularly for the inputs that are used in the manufacturing process in China. One that we've heard from our member companies is industrial chemicals and the tariff rates that would be assessed on those. Many products in the China market use industrial chemicals for the creation of plastics, for upstream products and components that are used by many downstream producers in the China market. That price will be passed along to the Chinese and U.S. consumer and will impact the competitiveness of U.S. products when compared to those from Europe or Japan or China's domestic companies. When we talk to our member companies, they note that there, of course, has not been any specific implementation yet, and there still is time between now and July 6th for a negotiated outcome to be finalized. We know, at least currently, there are no ongoing high-level negotiations between the U.S. and China, which may limit the opportunity for further engagement. But at the U.S.-China Business Council, we hope that both sides, with the significant threats on the table, will see it as imperative now more than ever to get back to the negotiating table and talk through how they can solve these issues beyond just tariffs that will harm U.S. consumers, the American farmer, and businesses operating in the U.S. and China. They describe both quantitative and qualitative responses to the tariffs. That seems to open up a new front in any kind of trade conflict. There's always been an expectation today that if tariffs were implemented by the Trump administration, the Chinese government would respond with equal and reciprocal tariffs in response. What they've described today would seem to go beyond tariff barriers to include potentially other non-tariff barriers. So, for example, if a U.S. company is operating in China and in the process to apply for a license, will that license process take longer, or will they be denied for political reasons as opposed to substantive administrative reasons as would be defined? When we've talked to the Chinese government, they've indicated that they will retaliate reciprocally and they will attempt to focus on products which are problematic for the Trump administration, either politically, so they're in states that may be important to the president, or that may also have a significant impact on the U.S. consumer, so that that's felt through the U.S., through the domestic economy in the U.S.